Reincarnation is both exalted and elusive. In Hinduism, reincarnation or samsara is central to the spiritual narrative. The Vedas and Upanishads, ancient Hindu scriptures, form the bedrock of this belief. The Rigveda, one of the oldest texts dating back to around 1500 BCE, contains hymns that hint at a cyclical view of life and death. The Upanishads, composed between 800–200 BCE, delve deeper, with texts like the Chandogya Upanishad explicitly discussing the transmigration of the soul based on karma, a principle suggesting one's actions in this life influence the next. This doctrine is not just spiritual, but is intricately linked to Hindu cosmology and ethics. Karma dictates the moral law of cause and effect, guiding the soul's journey through different forms and lives. The Bhagavad Gita, a revered Hindu scripture, elaborates on this, urging adherents to perform their dharma or duty without attachment to outcomes, thus influencing their samsaric journey positively. Historically, the belief in reincarnation has shaped Hindu society, including the caste system. Your birth in a particular caste is seen as a consequence of karma from past lives, a concept that has both justified social hierarchies and offered a form of spiritual solace. The Manusmriti, a foundational text on Hindu law, reinforces this idea, stating that one's actions in previous lives determine their current status. However, the historical evidence for reincarnation is a different matter. While the belief is deeply embedded in Hindu tradition, empirical verification remains contentious. Dr. Ian Stevenson, a prominent psychiatrist at the University of Virginia, spent decades researching past life memories in children. His work, documented in the 1997 book Reincarnation and Biology, a contribution to the etiology of birthmarks and birth defects, details over 2,500 cases suggesting reincarnation. Yet his findings, while intriguing, have not swayed the scientific community at large, which demands more rigorous, repeatable evidence. Critics argue that cultural and psychological factors could explain these phenomena. Dr. Jim B. Tucker, also at the University of Virginia, continues Stevenson's work, but acknowledges that cultural conditioning could influence reports of past life memories. Studies in cultures where reincarnation is a widespread belief show a higher incidence of such claims, suggesting a sociocultural rather than metaphysical origin. The strongest counterargument asserts that without empirical evidence, reincarnation remains a belief rather than a fact. The scientific method, based on observation and repeatability, finds no place for reincarnation, as no controlled studies have definitively proven its existence. Neuroscientist Dr. Sam Harris argues that consciousness appears to be a product of brain activity, which ceases at death, offering a materialistic counterpoint to the notion of a soul's rebirth. Yet dismantling this counterargument involves exploring the limitations of science in addressing metaphysical questions. The absence of evidence is not necessarily evidence of absence. While science has not validated reincarnation, it has yet to disprove it conclusively. Furthermore, ethical considerations suggest that the belief in reincarnation influences moral behavior positively, encouraging adherents to live ethically and compassionately. However, the crux of the argument rests on the lack of direct verifiable evidence. Without such evidence, reincarnation cannot be accepted as an empirical truth. It remains a profound spiritual belief that shapes lives and societies, but lacks the substantiation to be deemed a factual occurrence. In conclusion, reincarnation, as rooted in Vedic texts and Hindu philosophy, is a compelling narrative that offers existential comfort and moral guidance. Yet from a historical and scientific standpoint, the evidence does not support it as a factual phenomenon. The belief persists, but its truth remains elusive, with science unable to affirm or deny its existence definitively. Is reincarnation a spiritual truth or an unproven belief? If